Hello, today I am going to share with you a famous painting from the history of art. Monet's Water Lilies series. Monet is one of the leading French Impressionist painters of the late 19th century. He has dedicated his life to capturing the variations of light and color, showing the beauty and fickleness of nature. The complete Monet garden was largely formed in 1890. Total area of approximately 10,000 square meters. Comprising two core gardens, the Normandy Garden and the Japanese Water Garden. Contains the mansion, conservatory, studio, and other buildings where the Monet family lived. To create a garden of your own aesthetic. At the most, he had employed 5 gardeners. All my money is spent in the garden, he laughs to himself. If there is one thing that sets Monet's garden apart from other French gardens. Traditionally, French gardens are planted in a geometric pattern to create flowers and trees. Monet, on the other hand, allows the flowers and trees to grow freely. A bit laissez-faire, yet distinctive. This characteristic is also like Monet's paintings, which are arbitrary but have their own rules. This is the now world-famous series of paintings. The birthplace of Water Lilies. As the water garden takes shape, the water lilies, initially used only for ornamental purposes, slowly gave Monet the impulse to create. He often wakes up at 3 a.m., sitting by the pond for hours on end. Observe the water lilies in their ever-changing form with the water, the wind, and the light. The Water Lilies series is a representative work of Monet's later years. They represent the water lilies and lotus leaves planted in the pond in Monet's garden at Giverny. Monet's bold use of light and color in these paintings creates a poetic sense of atmosphere and space that is visually striking and mind-blowing to the viewer. These paintings are not just representations of the static beauty of water lilies and flowering ponds, but also Monet's profound sense of nature and color. Through his use of light and color, he made these paintings one of the icons of the Impressionist style and a classic in the history of French art. If you've ever been to Giverny Gardens, you'll notice the striking similarities between the paintings and the real-life scenery. The Giverny Garden with its beautiful pond. Water lilies and lotus leaves floating on a tranquil lake. Sunlight filters in through the gaps in the leaves, casting a dappled light. These are among Monet's sources of inspiration. Monet's studio was also a source of creativity for him. This painting studio is located next to the Giverny Gardens. It became Monet's home and place of artistic creation in his later years. In this painting studio, Monet completed a number of important works. Includes the Water Lily collection. He also often invites his friends to come and stay with him. Share with them Monet's own art and life. Monet's portrait photographs are also worth mentioning. He is a gentleman of grace and elegance. Has a thick beard and an elegant air. These portraits also give us an image of Monet. Help us to better understand this great painter. In addition to the Water Lilies collection, another of Monet's famous series is Impressions, Sunrise. This painting is one of the creations of the Impressionist movement. It shows the spectacular view of the rising sun and the changing sea. The name of the painting also provided the inspiration for the name of the Impressionists. Monet also frequented the seaside to work on his paintings. He spent time in Étretat in Normandy. He completed important works there, such as By the Sea in Trouville and The Cliffs of Étretat. These paintings show Monet's love of the sea and the coast and his deep understanding of color. Among the modernist artists, Monet is famous for his love of painting the same subject. He often paints the same subject at different times of the day, to capture the effect of changes in light and shadow on the scene. The Haystacks series, 1890 to 1891. It was the beginning of Monet's interest in series of group paintings. The Water Lilies series, on the other hand, is the end of Monet's lifetime of painting. In between he also painted Poplar Tree, the Capitol, and the Cathedral of Rouen. However, these themes have been repeated for as short a time as 1 year and as long as 3 years. These are not like the last Water Lilies series, which lasted a long time and were particularly numerous. How many paintings of water lilies did Monet paint? The real numbers are truly staggering. According to research statistics, from 1897 to 1926, Monet painted a total of 181 works explicitly entitled Water Lilies. There are also a number of paintings related to the water lily imagery, such as Water Lily Pond, Water Lilies Under the Willow, or Japanese Bridge. This should add up to a total of 242 paintings. In terms of date of creation and painting characteristics, Monet's Water Lilies can be divided into 2 phases. The previous phase began in 1897. Until the solo exhibition, Water Lilies, Scenes from a Lake, in Paris in 1909. The latter phase lasted from 1913 until Monet's death in 1926. During this time, Monet's situation and state of mind varied. But the distress caused by creation is always present. When Monet is upset or angry about a painting, can ruin own paintings. In 1908 alone, he cut out at least 15 paintings of water lilies. This even led to the postponement of his exhibition in Paris. Monet spent the last 12 years of his life working on his panorama of water lilies. He did not put down his brush until 2 days before his death in the winter of 1926. In accordance with the letter of gift of the painting signed in 1922. This group of paintings was dedicated to France after Monet's death in accordance with his will. But like many art sagas in their fixed formulae, forward-looking paintings have always had difficulty gaining recognition in contemporary times. The same is true of Monet's Water Lilies. In 1927, when 22 giant paintings of water lilies first appeared in the Orangery Gallery. Very mediocre public response. Many art critics consider the work to be lacking in perspective and without contours of objects. It was described at the time as Monet's worst failure. Until 1952, after the liberation of Paris from the Second World War. The war-torn Orangery Gallery comes back to life. Monet's work back in the world's eye. And has been enthusiastically described by art critics as the Sistine Chapel of Impressionism. Redefining the status of art history. Not only did it make Monet a hit in the 1950s, its influence extends to contemporary times, making it the absolute star of the current global market. The Water Lilies collection is the jewel in the crown. A constant stimulus to the buying ambitions of top collectors. For example, in 2008, Christie's London sold Monet's 1919 Water Lilies for £40.92 million, approximately $80.66 million. Significantly new auction record for Monet's work. It wasn't until 2016 that it was surpassed by Haystack. And in 2018, another late Water Lilies in the Christie's Rockefeller sale in New York sold for $84,687,500. Another significant increase in the price index of Monet's works. No matter how much fame and fortune and stories are hidden behind, the discussion of art must always be translated into a concrete and tangible appreciation. The real appeal of Monet's Water Lilies is perhaps the same as Monet's original intention in creating them. Finally, I hope that today's sharing will provide a better understanding of Monet's Water Lily series, and his place and influence in the history of art. If you have ever admired Monet's paintings, please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section. If you have not yet had the opportunity to see Monet's paintings, please share your thoughts in the comments section. If you have not yet had the opportunity to see a Monet painting, we hope that today's talk will open a window into his life. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.